Hi there, I'm Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, our new TV series where we empower, inspire, and educate. I am with my friend and guest, Lynda West, and we are going to have an exciting show for you today. And we're going to talk about a topic that is a big deal for a lot of people, and that is the real four-letter word that starts with F, fear. So, in case you don't know who I am, let me tell you a little bit about me. I am an intentional living expert and a reinvention specialist, and I work with clients and I help people to live intentionally and to reinvent their lives, whether they're going through any sort of transitions or are stuck or they're looking to make change. And the reason why I wanted to create this show and offer this out is because there are so many experts, influencers, coaches, authors, speakers who have gone down this path and this journey and have so much wisdom to bestow upon us. And so by having them in this environment, they offer their experience and expertise to you to help you live your life in a more intentional way and living it with more passion and purpose. And it was through my own personal journey, which I'm not going to get into right now, but it was through my reinvention out of my old life that got me into this new life and got me to where I am today because of people like Lynda and many other experts out there that have taught me so much along the way. So the way the show is formatted is what I do is at the top of it is set an intention for this show. As someone who sets intentions all day, every day, it's really important that we set intentions in our lives and do not leave our lives up to happenstance or to circumstances out of our control. We get to decide how we want to live, how we want to feel. So my intention for this show today is that we expose fear for what it is, which is just an emotion. So we're going to talk about that and how to alleviate some of your fears and how Lynda did it. She's got such a fantastic story.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to tell you all about Lynda and give you her intro and her bio, her fantastic background, what she's doing. We will talk about her journey and what she's doing right now and where she's going, and have a lot of fun with it. And then we end it with a powerful mantra and some gifts for you and ways to find out how to get Lynda's stuff and work with Lynda and work with me. So on that note, let me just tell you who Lynda Sunshine West is. She didn't name herself that. Somebody else did.
My friends did. They think I'm Sunshine.
She is. She's such a ball of energy. So known as the Oprah of San Diego, Lynda West is a master connector, best-selling author, chief copy editor, and columnist of Life by Design magazine, which is the first entrepreneur magazine in San Diego, and it's doing gangbusters. Amazingly well. And she's the Facebook Live queen, having done over 2,500 interviews, Facebook Live videos. Amazing. She's everywhere. I see her all the time. In 2015, she embarked on a journey of facing at least one fear every day, which she's going to talk about. And during that journey, she got to meet amazing people ranging from Frank Shankowitz, who is the creator and founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Ron Klein, who's the inventor of the magnetic strip on the back of credit and debit cards. How cool is that guy? And Brian Smith, who's the founder and creator of UGG Boots, who I know personally as well. Awesome. Gene Landrum, the creator of everyone's favorite mouse, Chuck E. Cheese. Although I beg to differ because I worked for Disney, so. And many others. In addition, she's been on the red carpet interviewing stars at the Academy Awards after party and City Gala. She started living life to help women entrepreneurs break through their fears so they can gain more confidence, generate more revenue, and make a greater impact on the world. Welcome, Lynda West.
Thank you. Boy, I sound amazing, don't I?
You are amazing. You know what I love about that? That is who you are. That's not even all of who you are. You're multifaceted, multidimensional, and you should shine like the bright diamond that you are and illuminate all of those talents and gifts and everything you do.
So that's a great point that you bring up just right there, because we will get into my story, but I only about recently, like I say, the November of 2014 is kind of when I started my journey of discovering who I really am. I spent most of my life living my life for others. My dad and my ex-husband, my first husband, were very controlling.
Yeah.
And because of their controls over people, and I allowed them to control me as well, that I just didn't think I was any valuable. Like I didn't think I had any value to the world. And in November 2014 is when that kind of started to change. And that's kind of really where my story really begins. Because you talked about old me and new me.
Yes.
And that's so interesting because we all have a different life, a different journey. The thing is that the old you don't have to stay there.
Right.
You have the choices. And that's what's so beautiful about being a human being.
Right.
Is we think and we can make choices on a daily basis to change who we are and what we are.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. So tell our audience where you were and what was going on with you that where you created all these fears, because we know how rampant fears are in everybody. I mean, everybody feels fear. But what happened for you?
Well, first, fear is, like they say, false evidence appearing real, face everything and run, you name it. There's all these different acronyms. And one thing that I discovered during this journey, which I will share, is that when you have faith in what you're doing, it erases your anxious reactions. That's my definition of fear, because once you're going to write that one down. That's a writer downer, I tell you.
That is.
Faith erases anxious reactions. And the reason I came up with that is because in November of 2014, I had been working for a judge in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. I had, at that point, that was my 49th job.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. 49 jobs.
49 jobs. Yeah. So I had to do a lot of soul searching. So November of 2014 is when the soul searching started. But up to that point, I had 49 jobs. 20 years of that was working in the legal field, and I worked for 7 different law firms in 20 years.
Oh
my last job was working for a judge in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and I did that for about a year and 3 months. I think that was the number. And I was driving to work one day, and I was like, I am driving myself to this personal prison that I built.
Yes.
I built it because I was like, I want to go up, 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 up. And then I got to the ultimate where I could ultimately go, because I'm in San Diego. And I worked for the #1 judge in San Diego, and I built this city. Like there's a song, right?
Yes,
we built this city.
We built this city.
Here we go. And I believe, like we all build our own lives. We're building them. But sometimes if we don't look at our life and who we are and what we want, setting an intention, we just go through life.
Right.
And that's what happened.
Literally on autopilot, and you don't take the time to really assess what matters to you. Who am I, and what do I want? And we get mired in the muck of everybody else's needs and demands, and we lose our soul in it. And different story, but similar in a way that the same thing was happening to me. Kept taking care of the needs of everybody else, and I got lost in it. And so, all right, so that happened.
Well, let me share that, because you said you're taking care of the needs of everybody else, but mine went a little bit even beyond that.
Okay.
And it was not really as much of, it was taking care of the needs of everybody else, but also it was because of fear, because I had a lot of fear. My father was a very abusive alcoholic father. And I lived out of, in guilt all the time, because my mom always took the brunt of anything I did that was not right.
Oh, wow.
So if I did something wrong, mom was going to get in trouble for it. And that is in my mind. I'm thinking that. Well, just share really quickly. When I was 5 years old, it was the first time I ran away from home.
Okay.
I was gone for a week.
Oh my God.
At 5 years old.
Oh my God. Okay. Where'd you go?
Yeah. So it's interesting, because I was sitting with Les Brown one day, because he was helping me on some stuff. And, it was really cool, because he asked me this question about my story. So I tell him my story, and I said, when I was 5, I ran away, and I was gone for a whole week. And he's like, hold on a second. You were gone for a week? And I said, yeah. And he goes, where'd you go? I said, the neighbor's house. He goes, but you were 5. You were gone for a week.
Yeah.
What was different that day? Why did you run away? And I said, well, I just wanted to run away and go live with the neighbor. He goes, no. Something happened that day that made you actually run away, because 5 years prior, everything had been the same, right?
Right.
Something was different. So what was different was, and I had to go back and think about it. What was different is that day, I remember my little sister and I'm 5, she's 4, sitting on the bed, huddled together. And I was holding her so tight, like, we're going to be okay. He's not going to hurt us. And just telling her that everything was going to be okay. But it hurt me so badly that I didn't want to live there anymore.
Right.
I decided I am running away and I'm never going to live with these people again.
Yeah.
And I ran away. So a week later.
Yeah. But still, at 5 years old, you left the house for an entire week, and,
yes.
and you made a decision. That was a very bold, confident decision. You set a boundary of where you would tolerate things and where you wouldn't tolerate things, which is really powerful for a 5-year-old.
And what's cool about, so here's, throughout my journey, what I've discovered is that I was brave, but I never saw myself as brave until I was about 53 years old.
Yeah.
Because I always saw myself as scared. I always did everything because I was scared.
Yes.
I ran away because I was scared, not because I was brave.
Right.
But then I had to learn to switch that and say, you know what? That's a victim mentality. I ran away because I was scared.
Right.
And like, you know what? I'm choosing to be a victor instead of a victim now.
Yes.
And so I say, you know what? I ran away because I didn't want to put up with that anymore. How courageous is that?
Right.
So learning to flip my thinking about what I've done in my past. I ran away from 49 jobs.
Right.
Right. How many times have I run away in my life?
Okay. Well, that might have been your thinking. That's not
exactly
what you did. You know,
that's not what I did. No,
you tried 49 different jobs and they weren't right for you.
Exactly.
So,
and that's what's crazy is like during the time I was thinking I was running away.
Yes.
But now I can, in retrospect, look back and say, you know what? They didn't treat me right. And so I wasn't going to put up with it anymore. I didn't feel respected and I didn't want to put up with it anymore. You know, I wasn't getting paid enough. And I'm not going to put up with it anymore. And that's the reality of what really happened. But I kept seeing it as I'm running away.
So, all right. So what events occurred that made you make the switch to see it in a different light?
Well, I started with a life coach. So when I was, prior to November of 2014, I had hired a life coach because I was like, there's something out there for me. I don't have any idea what it is. So I hired this life coach.
Wait, pause for a second. Let's make a very important point. You're a coach. I'm a coach.
Yes.
We have coaches.
Yes.
Coaches have coaches. Coaches, nobody does it alone. It's really important to get somebody else to see what you cannot see for yourself, right? Because you couldn't see it for yourself.
Exactly. Okay. I have 4 coaches and, you know, they're in different areas. It depends on what area of my life that I need a coach. Like just like football teams, how many coaches does one person have?
Right. I have 3.
Right. See, so it is very important. That's a good point too, because it helps you to see things that you can't see.
Yes.
And so I hired this life coach. She was, you know, asking me all these questions that really unlocked all this gunk in my head, you know, and started releasing all this stuff. And that's why in November of 2014, I was driving to work. I'm driving myself to my own personal prison. I am not doing this anymore. Yeah. I just decided in that moment. So when I came home that night, I told my husband, guess what? I'm quitting my job. Yeah. And he's like, no problem. There's been 49 of them. What's the big deal? You know, right? Like
what's one more?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Let's do it. I don't know what you're doing, but let's do it. And I said, and we're going to sell the house because I need to follow this dream and this passion because I finally discovered what my purpose is here on earth. Yeah. And that's, you know, is to help people. At that point, I didn't know what that meant. I just knew I was here to help people. And so I told him, I said, I'm here to help people. And he's like, huh? You know, he says, we're not selling the house. Right. And I said, this is what people really, you said this? And yes, I did. I said, you don't understand. I figured out my purpose here. God put me here for this purpose. Yes. And no human body can get in the way of what he has sent me here to do. Right. Right. And he's like, you are serious. Yeah. Let's do it.
I can totally relate to that because I did the same thing. I walked away from a golden handcuff job with no net. I sold my house of 20 years, all the belongings. I got my twins off to college and I totally started my life over, moving from Chicago to San Diego because I had a purpose too. And it was way bigger than me. And I know people thought I was crazy. People may still think I'm crazy, but when you get that, you know your purpose and you feel that calling, it is nothing can stop you.
It's so powerful.
I get it. I totally get it.
It's so powerful. But I think a lot of times, though, if you're not ready for it, right, fear steps in.
Yeah.
So that's where my faith acronym came in, because that was the moment that I realized that I have faith in myself and what I'm here to do. And I have faith that he is going to take care of me no matter what. I had no anxious reactions to anything.
Yes.
No fear. Like now, I speak on stage, there's no fear behind it at all, because I'm here for a purpose.
Yes.
And it's not about me at all. It's not about me at all.
All right. Well, I want to get to your book. Okay. So Lynda wrote a fantastic book. It's called The Year of Fears. Okay. And it is such a phenomenal story. So tell us about the book. What happened to you? I love this. The Year of Fears.
Okay. So in November 2014, that's when I left my job. Mm-hmm. And I kind of flailed around, for December, not knowing what I'm doing. Actually, I flailed around for a little over 3 years, to tell you the truth. But, so I'm flailing around. Yeah, flailing around here and there in December. And then January 1st came, and I like to I don't like to set, what do you call it? New Year's resolutions.
Right.
Because I don't believe in them. I believe in New Year's solutions, So my thing was, what am I going to do different this year that's going to, since I'm embarking on this journey of discovering who I am, what can I do differently that is going to make me change a lot by the end of the year?
Yes.
And I decided I was going to wake up every morning. The first question I asked myself is, what scares me? The very first question. And whatever popped into my head, whatever it was, that was the very first. I made sure I did that day, no matter what it was.
Well, all right. So give me an example. Give us an example of something you did.
So none of this was, I didn't jump out of any planes.
I was going to say skydiving.
I didn't bungee jump. I didn't do any of those things. It wasn't about like spiders scaring me or, it wasn't about that stuff at all, because I had so many fears. Fear starts in here anyway, but I had so many fears that were about self-image, everything was about me and who I am. I was on this journey trying to discover who the heck I am, because I spent my whole life trying to please others, a people pleaser.
Yep.
So I spent my whole life trying to please everybody, because my dad always beat my mom. So everything stems back to my childhood.
Right.
That if I did something wrong, there was a repercussion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I had to, try to discover, like, who is Lynda? Who am I? So most of the things came up. Like, for example, this is kind of a really weird one. I don't know why it came up, but it did. And I have this fear of talking to new people. All right. So I'm very shy, believe it or not. I'm actually a shy person when I'm meeting new people.
Oh, I get it.
Okay.
I had that too.
People don't believe me
a lot less now, but for sure.
Yes,
definitely.
And that, for me, that came with confidence, like getting to know who I am. So I had this fear of meeting new people, and that actually stemmed. I had to figure out why. Like, everything I was doing is like, why am I scared of this? Why am I scared of that? So I could address it, and that stemmed from my first husband. Unfortunately, every day he told me how stupid I was, how ignorant I was, and how people were only nice to me because they felt sorry for me. So because of that, I was afraid to say anything out loud, because what if somebody caught on to me and they saw how stupid I was?
Yes. I guarantee you there are viewers out there who are our audience out there who have this experience. So listen to how she turned this around, because you're not alone. So you're serving a lot of people right now by sharing this.
Okay, good. Take
story.
Notes. So one of those fears, because meeting new people is a scary thing for me, that actually came up quite often during my year of fears. But one of the things for some reason, I said, you know what? I'm scared to meet new people. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to go to Starbucks and I'm going to walk up to a perfect stranger and ask them if I can sit down with them.
Wow.
It was,
and?
Okay, so I got to Starbucks and everybody was paired up with somebody. So that didn't work. It had to be a single person, like somebody all by themselves. They were all paired up. So I stood and like, oh my gosh, really? Come on. There's not a single person in here. So I waited like 10 minutes. Finally, one man walked in. He went and he ordered his food and he went and sat down. And I was like, excuse me, sir, do you mind if I have a seat with you? I'm facing a fear every single day. And one of my fears is talking to new people. So do you mind if I do that? And he goes, yeah, sure, have a seat. You're like, this is kind of odd, right? I literally spoke to him for 5 minutes. I have no idea what I said, because that doesn't even matter. What matters is that I did it. And I got up and I thanked him for his time, got in my car and got the hell out of there.
But didn't you feel so good?
It felt amazingly scary, and I felt really good. Yes. I felt proud of myself for facing a fear and saying something that it didn't matter what it sounded like.
Right.
It didn't matter.
There was no attachment to the outcome. And you stepped, my expression is, you stepped fearfully and fearlessly into it, with no expectation of it. And
my only expectation was that I do it.
Yes.
Like that was it.
Yeah.
So I'll share, I'm actually signing up for, I don't know when yet. And so signing up for a bikini contest.
Whoa.
Totally 100% terrified. You know, I have gained so much weight in these last 10 years, like going through some things in my life. I've gained so much weight and I am not the weight that I really want to be. But the fear for me of that is actually stepping on the stage.
Yes.
It's not the signing up for it. It's not winning. I don't care if I win, because for me, just winning is stepping on the stage.
Yes. Huge win.
It's really big because I have this body image thing I've always had.
Yes.
And I don't know what it stems from really, but even growing up.
Society, the media, mean girls, everywhere.
Well, check this out though.
Ex-husbands who say horrible things to you.
This was before that. I have a family of 4 girls and 1 boy.
Yeah.
The girls never dressed in front of each other. So there was already a body image thing in the household as I was growing up as a little kid. I don't know where it came from, but I hated junior high school.
So, all right, well, who didn't? That's a show for another day. Let me tell you, those are the worst years ever. But what made you commit to doing? Like, what made you say yes to this?
To the Year of Fears?
No, to this bikini thing.
Oh gosh, yeah. So this is 3.5 years after doing the Year of Fears, right?
Okay.
And some friends of mine are going to do a bikini contest. And they're like, hey, Lynda, we're going to do a bikini contest. Do you want to join us? And I said, hell no, I'm not doing that. So a week later, I saw them again. And another person asked me, do you want to do it? And I said, no way, I'm not doing that. So the next week, another person asked me. And I said, no way. You guys stop asking me. You know, I am not doing this. And then I said,
you got it.
Wait a minute. Well, I didn't even think about that. But no, it was like, wait a minute here. Why am I saying no?
Right.
And my reason for saying no is because of fear.
Yes.
And I said, because it scares me, I'm doing it.
Good.
So that's my new thing. It's like, if it scares me, I do it because it scares me.
Yeah.
It totally changes
I just joined. I'm in the middle of a 30-day challenge, and I put it out there, and I said how much weight I want to lose, how much fat, how much muscle I want to gain, and I just put it out there because that's scary to do.
Yeah.
But it holds you accountable too, and you know what? The answer is always no if you don't ask, and you're never going to get the results if you don't try. So you at least need to be trying. All right.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So when did you decide like the Year of Fears was going so well that you were becoming fearless, or a lot more fearless?
I would say that was March of 2015. So 2015 was the Year of Fears.
Okay.
And it was, I say that.
So funny. That was my year of reinvention.
Was it?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who quit their jobs November of 2014 and went into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
It's really weird how all of a sudden I started meeting all these people.
Well, there was a lot of planet stuff going on.
Well, maybe that, yeah. I don't know, but it's awesome.
Okay, that's great. All right.
So it was March of 2015. In February of 2015, I had attended a vision board seminar. During the vision board seminar, they had some speakers. One of the speakers, his name is Greg Reed, who you know.
I know Greg.
And he was selling his tickets to his event called Secret Knock. Well, I was with my life coach at that event, and she's like, you need to go to Secret Knock. We didn't know what it was, but for some reason she felt something that I needed to be there.
Yes. Okay.
And I said, it's too expensive. I'm not going, because it was very expensive.
Yes.
And she goes, no, you have got to go. And I was like, whatever my life coach says, I really should do it. Yeah. She knows what she's talking about.
Right.
She knows about me. She knows more about me than I do.
Yes.
And so I went ahead and signed up, and it was the best thing I ever did in my life. Yeah. Because at that event is where I met Frank Shankwitz, the co-founder, creator of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I'll show you really quickly how that happened. It was a 3-day event. Secret Knock at that time was a 3-day event. And Frank spoke on the stage, and I just was enamored with him because he tells a story about the founding of the Make-A-Wish. I mean, what an incredible story.
It is a beautiful story.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And so he went and he sat down, and I got up the nerve to run over there and get a picture with him. Like that, I had to get nerves just to go get a picture with him. And then I ran back to my table, and I was nervous for like 10 minutes afterwards. Like stomach was just all in knots and everything. And then, so I went home, and then the next day as I was driving there, I had idea, this epiphany. And this was the fear I was going to face, was, talking to somebody at Secret Knock. And the epiphany was that I'm going to have Frank speak at my event.
Okay.
So I was driving there the whole way saying, Frank, my name is Lynda. You're going to be the keynote speaker at it's called a nonprofit speaker series, was an event that I was putting on. You're going to be the keynote speaker at my nonprofit speaker series. I practiced it over and over the whole entire drive, which was like 30 minutes for me. And then I got there. I couldn't see Frank anywhere.
No.
I was like,
he wasn't there.
He went home. It was in my mind. He went home. I missed my window of opportunity.
Right.
This is why I'll share with you why this was the pivotal moment for me. So during a break, I ended up seeing him. There he was at the other end of the room, and I ran over there, and I beelined it. I had blinders on, and I ran over there, and there he is standing in what I call the circle of death. It's 4 men over 6 feet tall. I'm 5'3". Yeah. Frank's like 6'7" or something. They're all really, really tall. Yeah, big cowboy hat. And I literally walked up there and I stood, and they were all shoulder to shoulder because it was so loud, so they had to hear each other. I literally stood like next to him, my shoulder, and I stood right up there and just stared at him. Yeah. Well, I didn't do that, but I know. I got the daggers, right? Like, I got you. So about 30 seconds of me just standing there staring there at him, as obnoxious as could possibly be, I'm sure. But I didn't care because I had a one-track mind. I knew what I wanted.
Yes.
I wanted Frank.
You had laser focus.
Extremely laser, rude, obnoxious focus is what I had. And so he looked down at me and he goes, "Oh, hi, how can I help you?" And I said, "Frank, my name is Lynda. You're going to be the keynote speaker at my nonprofit speaker series. I just know it," like that. And he goes, "Excuse me, gentlemen, I'll be right back."
Yeah.
And then we stepped outside and we talked for about 20 minutes.
Right.
And it was so amazing. I was so proud of myself for just going after what I wanted. And that's where I had faith that he was going to say yes. That's why I didn't have any nerves about it. It was crazy.
Well, you weren't going to be able to live with yourself if you didn't go up and do it. And here's the thing. I know I've learned this, and I'm sure you've learned it too. The more successful somebody is, the more approachable they actually are.
More available.
They want you to come up to them. They want to help you. They don't like living like that. Like, people are afraid to approach them. They really, really don't. So
not 100% of the time,
but most of the time.
Most of the time. Those who are really into serving others are definitely, they want to help you because they've been there. They know what it's like to want so much and to not have, and I'd like to go after it. Yeah, so true.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So how can we give the audience I have some ideas too, but I want to hear from you. Like, what's one or two things that somebody could do today to really overcome their fears, or even identify what's keeping them paralyzed in fear?
Yeah, and this is my advice, is that first of all, you have to recognize you're having fear. That's the first thing. So where does your fear start? Is it in your throat? Is it here? Is it your heart starts racing crazy? Do your hands start to get sweaty? Do you start shaking? Does your stomach start to feel like you're going to throw up? I've had all of those. I experienced all of those. So the first thing is say, okay, I'm experiencing something here.
Yes. So awareness.
Yeah, awareness. What is it? Okay, I have a fear about what? Then you have to figure out what the fear is of. It's like when I was talking about the bathing suit, bikini, which is different than a bathing suit. I didn't know what a bikini was when I said bikini contest.
Wait to see this.
I'm going to wear one of those like they used to wear in the 1920s, where you got the little hat and like a big long dress.
I'm sure you are.
I said I was going to do it. I didn't say what I was going to wear. So you recognize that you're experiencing something. Then you have to recognize that it is a fear. What is the fear of? And what I like to do is I like to figure out why I'm having that fear. So is it fear of judgment, which is the biggest reason for fear? Most of us have fear because we're fear of being judged, of how other people are going to think of us. Then, like, let's say it's the fear of judgment. This works for me every time, and I love this. Like, I developed this about a year ago. And that is that if I say it's fear of judgment and I realize that that's what it is, I say to myself, will this affect me in a week?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Or even 3 days or 2 days, an hour? Because sometimes the fear is just picking up the phone and calling somebody, or it's sending off an email, hitting send, or it's sending a text message. It's posting something on Facebook. It can be so many different kinds of fears that we face.
There are, and that's how it shows up. It shows up in a lot of different ways. It shows up in procrastination like that. And it's so funny because I do this practice when I'm speaking a lot into groups. I do a short guided meditation. And so if any of you ever heard me speak, or if you ever do in the future, this is what I'm going to do. But I take them back 3 years, and then I take them forward 3 years. And when you come out of it, you realize that in 3 years, whatever's going on with you right now, it won't matter. It won't matter. So when you feel the fear in your life, you have that skill to draw back on. You can go back in time. You can go forward. Like, you don't have to be there right now. And you can say to yourself, in 3 years, this won't matter, because it won't. And
but here's the opposite side of that, right? In 3 years, if you don't do it, how is it going to matter?
Right. Well, right.
The missed opportunity.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Well, that's part of being in action too. But
taking action. Yeah.
And that fear is back to what we're going to blow the lid off of it. What it really is, and it's an emotion, right? And you can't touch it. You can't put your hands around it. It's just an emotion and a feeling and a limiting belief. So what awareness can you create, and what can you do differently to turn that around and turn that fear into an opportunity to grow and expand and stretch yourself? So
it's interesting. As I look back through my life, I mentioned the running away when I was 5 years old. There was also a potential for missed opportunity many times in my life. But as I look back, I say, you know what? I actually took opportunities when I could have let them go. For example, one of the many jobs I applied for was working for a lawyer, and he was a really tough lawyer, and I knew that going into the interview. And when I left the interview, I got down to my car, and this was before cell phones, but I got down to my car and I was like, oh, dang it. I wanted to say this. Like, how often have you left a job interview or left something and you were like, man, I wish I had said that one thing, darn it. Yeah. Well, what I did is I found a quarter, went to a payphone, I called up and I said, hey, Bob, I was just up there and I just left. I have one last thing I forgot to mention during the interview. Can I come back up?
Yeah.
And he said, yes. So I went back up there. I told him the one thing and then I left.
Yeah.
That was the thing that got me the job.
Right.
Because they needed somebody for that lawyer that was really tough. They needed somebody who was not going to be scared to walk into his office and say, bam. And that's what I did, is by me stepping forward and doing that, it showed them who I am.
Right.
So it was really crazy because I might have just missed that opportunity. Said, darn it.
Yes. Right. Kick yourself later for it. Yeah. So step into it, whatever it is, because the worst thing that can happen is the answer is no, right? That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
And actually,
but then how can you convince them yes?
Well, exactly. That's true.
Or at least try.
Right.
Get what you want.
Right. I totally agree with that. And I was working with a client today, and there's a lot of fear associated and around money for this particular person in the current situation that's going on. And it's like debilitating.
Yes.
Causing this person not to be able to sleep or function, and it's really paralyzing. And I talked about certain things for this person to do and actions to take, and I got a text like 2 hours later that this amazing gift came her way as soon as she switched her thinking. It went like that. It was instantaneous. So
it's that stinking thinking, right?
It's that stinking thinking. Yes.
Yeah.
So to change the focus. Well, so part of what I do is affirmation statements and focusing on mindset, emotions, and language, because what we're thinking in our mind is creating the way we're feeling, which is creating the way we're communicating, which is creating what's showing up in our lives, right?
Yes.
So by changing your words and your thoughts, you can really change your life, and it can happen really fast.
Yes.
So with you, you had a fear of approaching powerful people, right?
Oh, anybody. I had a fear of approaching anybody.
Yes. So a fear of approaching anybody. Or if you've got a fear of, running out of money, or a fear of,
homelessness, right? Homelessness.
Right, that's where it goes. It spirals all the way down. Like, oh my God, I'm in debt. I'm putting out more money than I'm bringing in. I'm going to end up losing my home. I'm going to end up homeless. And And the reality is that's not going to happen to you. Like, you're a survivor, but we get stuck in that mindset. But if you just switch it around to be, I'm just grateful for the money I have, and I'm grateful for the things that I have, and come from a place of gratitude versus fear, and faith versus fear, you can turn that around, really. And it can happen really, really quickly. Yes, I agree. So,
yes.
Okay. So what else, what final piece of advice, or what do you want to share with audience members who are ready to take a leap or take a step,
and they're hesitating,
and they feel the hesitation, and they feel the fear about it? Because you reinvented your life. I reinvented my life, right? People do it, but many people want to do it and can't because of the fear.
Right. So think about your past. How many times have you done something that you were hesitating on doing, or you were fearful of doing, but you did it anyway? And how did it turn out? That's the thing, is that if you really think about it, how often have the things that you wanted to do, well, they say that fear, 10% of what we fear is all that really actually happens. Yeah. So that means 90% of it ends up a lot better than we ever imagined. Yeah. So I want you to think about, in your life, how many of the things that you've done actually turned out as bad or scary as you thought they would. Yeah. Besides bungee jumping. Yeah. I think the odds are actually like 99.99% of the things you worry about never happen. Yeah. So, I don't know. They say that. Yeah. They throw that number out there. Right? I know. It's like, doesn't even matter.
It's like really, right. Yeah. What's the reality? We worry about this crazy stuff. Yeah. We have so many fears about things that we just really have no reason to fear. Yeah. Well, sure. Just a really quick story. I was going to do the indoor skydiving. Yeah. And I was really excited. I was pumped up, even though I was scared. I've actually replaced the word scared with excited, because excited is a positive. It's because it's all just energy, right? Anxiety, scared, fearful. They're all just energies. But when you say excited, our mind sees excitement as a positive. It just happens to be that way. So I was going to do this indoor skydiving, and I was excited, fearful, excited. And then a friend of mine said, "Oh my God, I just did that last week. It was so scary. Oh my God, I could hardly breathe. I didn't know how I was going to make it." And she was just like filling my mind. At this point, I was excited. Yes. And then all of a sudden I started thinking, oh, what if I can't breathe? What if I die in there? What if I hit the edge of the thing? What if I fly up to the top? I had all these imaginary things going through my head. So when we finally, that was like a week before we did the thing. Yep. So I had a whole week of being able to psych myself out for being frightened and that I was going to die there, Yes. So when we got there, it was with some friends, like 10 of us, and I was pacing and I was saying, "Oh my God, I'm so scared. I'm not going to be able to breathe." Talking. I work through fears all the time. Yep. And this one just really got me, because she was telling me how she couldn't breathe. And that's one of my biggest fears, is to stop breathing, because that means I die, Right. And so it was one of my mentors was there with me, and he was like, "What are you doing? Why do you keep saying this?" Right. So I want you to switch it. I want you to look at, are any of those people and they're dying? Right. You're staring at them right now. They're having fun. That's you. You're going to be having fun. Right. So it was just like you said, because you can instantaneously turn it around. Yeah, just say, "You know what? This is going to be a blast. I can't wait to get in there. I'm going to have the best time of my life." And it was one of those fake it till you make it type moments, really, because I still had the underlying fear, but I kept telling myself, this is going to be amazing. When I got in there, oh my gosh, it was a blast. I wish it never ended. Yeah. It was absolutely amazing. And you got to have that amazing experience. Yeah. That is so cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want you to tell our viewers, I'm going to leave you guys with some powerful mantras, but tell everybody where you can get your book. Okay, my book is on Amazon. You can go to livinglive.tv/YOF Amazon, which is Year of Fears. Year of Fears. Amazon, yeah. Which I love that, which, by the way, we said it at the beginning in your bio, Lynda's done over 2,500 Facebook Live videos. That's amazing. I mean, there's a story behind that too. Yeah. There's a story behind everything. I'm sure there is. But that is just amazing. So, well, can I address this real quick? Because this was, again, a scary thing for me to do. Writing a book.
there can be a lot of fears around that. And so I had to examine again, why am I fearful? What is scaring me about this? Well, first was I was going to have my words be out written in public. And so people were going to be able to, criticize me or whatever, give me good feedback or bad feedback, whatever. So it's a matter of putting myself out there and just worrying about what people might think of me and stuff. But then also like just writing the chapters, there were fears behind that. What if what I say doesn't make any sense? What if it's all jumbled? So I faced a lot of fears while writing the book. But, I had been writing the book for a year. Mm-hmm. I wrote it in notepads. I wrote it on computer. I wrote it everywhere. But then somebody gave me a really great tip of how to write the book fast. And I literally wrote it in a week.
Yeah.
That writing it in a week helped that faith, yes. Right? Because like my faith was that I'm going to finish.
Yes.
I never thought I was going to finish up until that point.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. We drag things out, and I coach people on this all the time. If you've got something that you want to accomplish, don't say, "Oh, I'll get it done in a year." Give yourself a year. Act like your year is a quarter. Give yourself 3 months. I just gave a client yesterday a deadline to do something that they really want to do, and I shortened it. I gave them half the amount of time to do it. Mm-hmm. And now they just revise their schedule so that they can actually get it done, because now they're motivated to get it done. If you do that and extend out time like that, you're going to procrastinate, and then you're going to let the fears come in. So yeah, and my book too. My book, same thing. I started writing it, mm-hmm. and it was, I was dabbling here and there. I had the whole change in life, and the reinvention happened, and the same thing happened. And my coach said, "You need to give me a by when date, Diane, to get this mm-hmm. book done." And so it was 2016, and I said, "All right, July 15th." And he said, "All right, you got to get this book done July 15th." I gave myself 4 weeks to write the book. I devoted Mondays to writing day. I called them Monday Musings with Diane. Okay. I blocked off 5 hours, no phones, no computers, no meetings, mm-hmm. nothing. I got it done in 3 weeks, 3 Mondays. So, and that's the thing. You have a deadline. You have to get it done. So you really don't have time to let the fear come into play.
Well, being accountable to somebody else is always better. Yes. I mean, you can be accountable to yourself, but I don't know. Right. Sometimes we just keep pushing the deadline out.
Yes.
Yes. That's really awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do it too. Actually, one of my clients had a book she had written 20 years ago, and she just didn't finish it.
Yes.
So I said, "Okay, when are you going to finish it? Tonight?" She said, "Yeah." So she finished it in like 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Literally just got it done. I mean, it was there and ready.
Yeah. And speaking about that, I know we're going off course. Yeah. So is it okay if we over deliver and give you more value in other areas? We were just talking about this. So we're both published authors. I'm working on my next book. You're working on a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And there are 22% of the books published are by women. That's it.
Yes.
22. Ladies, you have stories. You have fantastic stories and wisdom that you have to share with us. We need your work. So maybe there's a book inside of you that you need to create. In fact, we know there is a book inside of you. So maybe you need some help and support. So we're definitely here for that. So,
and don't worry about your book, like if it's providing exactly the value that you think it needs to provide, because it's not about you at all.
It's
about providing value for the people. Les Brown said to me, he said, "Lynda, don't worry so much about what you want to say. Make sure that you deliver what they need to hear."
Right.
It's so important. Put yourself into their shoes, not your own shoes.
Yes.
Forget about you. I'm just kidding.
and also that it's going to resonate with who it's supposed to resonate with. And there are going to be haters. That's a sign of success. Let me tell you, because it happens. I've gotten a few, but you know what? That means it's actually a good thing. You're on your way when you start to get haters.
I like to look at that because I don't see it as much as that you're on your way. Because I get the saying, but really it's because you put yourself out there.
Yes.
It's not, so you're on your way because you broke through that fear that you have of not putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it for me. It's like what's coming is because I'm willing to actually share who I am now, share my voice. I have a voice. I need to be heard now. I was stifled for 5 decades.
You got a great voice.
Oh, thank you.
She sings Happy Birthday like every day.
I stopped doing that, but I did for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day for 2 years.
Every day she sang Happy Birthday to
all of my Facebook friends.
All of them. Facebook, so. Okay. Well, I wanted to also share some gifts with you. I have 4 free gifts for you if you're interested in learning more about Me and I Have Today and Living Intentionally. And they are available if you take your phone and you text to the number 38470, 38470, the word today. I have today. You're going to get my 4 free gifts. And one of them includes a complimentary strategy session with me. One of them is 3 tips on how to get everything you want. Very, very powerful. One is attitudes determine the outcome. And then the last one is the 30-day challenge on how to have a better today. So all fun, cool stuff for you. So text the word today to 38470. And then if you want to find out more about me, go to my website at DianeForster.com. There's all sorts of resources out there, and my blogs and webinars and different products and services to help you live your life more intentionally and through your own reinvention process, because we all go through it. And you're not alone, and there's people like us to support you. I mean, Lynda is just an amazing, extraordinary woman, isn't she? So cool. And I love the name of her book, The Year of Fears, and that she actually did it. So it's been a great show. You want any last parting words?
Well, can I give away a gift also?
Yes,
okay.
Go for it.
What I'd like to offer is, if you'd like to sit down with me for 30 minutes, we do it via Zoom, so you don't have to be where I live. But for 30 minutes, just sit down with me, see if there's a way that I can help you break through maybe one fearful thing you're working on, something you're procrastinating on, because most of the time procrastination is due to fear for the most part. So if you like that, just go to livinglive.tv/30, just the number 30, and let's hop on a call and see if there's something I can help you with.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, I want to say one last closing comment. A takeaway for me was faith erases anxious reactions. Faith erases anxious reactions. I'm going to use that. If you don't know me, you're going to know this. I'm big on Post-its, so I'm going to put that on Post-its and I'm going to stick it everywhere until it gets anchored. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Lynda.
Oh, the mantras.
Oh, the mantras. Thank you.
Hold on a second.
Hold on, I forgot about the mantras. Okay, so I got it right here. Okay. So part of last thing in the book, it talks about my 3-step process on how I reinvented my life. And the 3-step process, simply stated, is love it, thank it, bring it. And if you want to know what it is, please get the book. You can get it on my site at DianeForster.com or on Amazon. And so with every blog I write and every webinar, I do love it, thank it, bring it affirmation statements, because they're really powerful. And that helps remove and alleviate the fears and the doubts and the negative emotions and reprogram the subconscious with positive, more powerful ones. Cool. So the love it is, I love how fearlessly I live each day. If you're writing this down, I love how fearlessly I live each day.
Each day.
Thank it is, I am grateful for my fearless attitude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I am grateful for my fearless attitude. And bring it is, I am in control of my emotions, decisions, and my life. Yes. I am in control of my emotions, my decisions, and my life.
And that's really important because, it's like taking full responsibility for your life.
Yes.
Because you can blame other people all you want, but the bottom line is that you are in charge. And like, if you're being held captive, that's totally different. I'm not going to address that, but it's, like I said, I got myself into the positions I've gotten myself into. That means it's my responsibility to get myself out of them.
Right. No one else is responsible for the condition of our lives. We are, and no one else is going to give you permission to live your life. You need to give yourself permission to do it.
Exactly.
So, what a great show. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. And awesome. We'll be here live next week. Again, it's I Have Today with Diane Forster. And for more information, go to DianeForster.com. And we will see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.